Okay. Uh, Folks, if you can take your seats, it'll be great right here. Fantastic. I think, so from a perspective of insights that we learned today, absolutely amazing. I think, you can't stop learning, Anish, and, the whole aspect of consumers and customers and the acquisition, behavioral patterns, and what you do. So many questions that are getting answered. So I love this format. Folks, I'm going to take you through a few aspects of what Adobe can do for you. I think at Adobe, a lot of you think about Adobe from a creative side of it. So when you look at Photoshop, you're designing graphics, you're doing all of those things. You think about it that, that's the creative side of Adobe, and you use those tools, right? But we have a significant digital presence, and we have a significant digital business where we actually help customers present products and services to their consumers. Look at personalization, campaign orchestration, and finally commerce. I'm going to talk about a whole lot of things, but before that, I think everybody knows that the last 18 months or so have been quite challenging. And what it did for a lot of companies out there was create this disruption. It had to be a digital-first economy. You had to have a presence online to reach out to your consumers. So products and services that you sold to your loyal customers were no longer available in store. Though, at this juncture, in this year, that's changing. So you have people going in store, but that's not enough, right? It's still a lot of customers out there are still buying online, and that's great news for D2C, right? Organizations who are reaching out to direct to consumers. And what it also does is the fact that as a consumer, I'm willing to share my data with you, and I'm willing to buy products and services directly from you if I get the right kind of experience. And that's where Adobe comes into play. You think of it, right? It's not about personalization, it's not about analytics, it's about the customer. That's where it all starts. And not only that, when you look at brands, when they want to engage, brands that want to actually go ahead and create that competitive differentiation, one product from the other, one service from the other, you need to have that ability to go ahead and create that experience at every touch point. So it's not just about online presence, it's about distribution, it's about customer service, it's about going ahead and giving an in-store experience. It's all across the place. How do you really go ahead and give that single aspect of customer journey? You go ahead and really understand what your customers are really feeling. And there was a question around the fact that how do you really find out what your customers want to do, and that's where the behavioral data that you capture across multiple journeys comes into play, and therefore the interactions that they do with your brand define what's the next best action that you can take. Now, everybody understands that, and I'm sure that when you read this, experience is more important than product and pricing. Anybody in the audience thinks that experience is not more important than product and pricing? Nobody? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and at this juncture, everybody that I talked to, I had a good fortune of talking to a few people. All of them haven't solved this whole aspect of creating that personalized experience, right? You're there, you've gone ahead and created some aspect of personalization, but it's not end-to-end. And that's where the challenge is, and that's where Adobe helps, right? We not only help you in understanding your customers, but also creating your customer journeys, interaction, personalized experience. And we did a research with Forrester, and what they said was brands that are able to create this customer experience drives revenue, drives growth, drives loyalty, and that's good for business at the end of the day. Anybody who doesn't think that, happy to have a chat, really, because that's what drives the organization in terms of growth, right? We heard, I don't know, we were there in the morning discussion, and the question Nagesh asked was that growth, profitability, or top line? What is it? What's going to take precedence? And I think growth certainly and when you look at growth, both of those things come into play. So growth is number one when I think of it, right? And that's what you've got to go ahead and really look at it from your perspective when you're driving brand engagements. Now, another aspect of what Adobe can do for you is we not only create, the ability or the opportunity for you to go ahead and create these fantastic e-commerce capabilities and sites, but also at the inception of product creation. So Adobe has capability today to connect your product conceptualization to commerce, right? And we do it because we have this, fantastic tools that go ahead and, bring that concept into reality, and then be able to go ahead and transform that into experiences that your customers can engage with, and finally, you can actually go ahead and convert. Now, when you say, think about conversion, it's not that easy, right? How many of you think conversion is easy when you look at from, product and solution capability that you want to take to internet? If conversion was so easy, I don't think you would need these conferences, right? Because you want to know that what is it that I can do for conversion? And that's where Adobe comes in, right? So we've gone ahead and created this fantastic brand. And in pandemic, we actually helped a lot of brands. How many of you actually have products that you go ahead and put it into a studio and then take pictures and then put it up into your website? Anybody doing that right now? Right? Yeah? So a few of you actually go ahead and do that. What Adobe's gone ahead and done is we can actually give you tools which can go ahead and really create those 3D products, and a lot of customers are using that, and then be able to publish that quickly. So that means that you're, from the conceptualization to actually selling, the cycle time is reduced. Your effort has reduced. You're in more control. You heard about a lot of people talk about SKUs and other things. I can give you, huge number of SKUs in the color, in the texture, in the, environment that you need at the click of a button. That's what Adobe is capable of doing. And then when you take that capability, you want to go ahead and convert. And it's a big gamut out there. You need to go ahead and look at, what is the right product pricing, what kind of channels you're going to use, or how do you really go ahead and, create those journeys for customers, what do you do when there are returns, how do you really, we heard a lot around marketplace. How do you really integrate, using our capability into the marketplace? We have capabilities that integrate into marketplace, which means that, and for those of you who have not integrated into marketplace, I think catalog and, the whole capability of taking the catalog and making it available to marketplace is very difficult. It's not an easy job, right? So the whole inventory catalog and other things, how do we really go ahead and help customers push through omni-channel? That's what Adobe brings to the table. Now, to give you an example of, from content to, sales and marketing, this is how you can think of, any organization that actually is going and selling products and services. On your left-hand side, what you see is the conceptualization, design, all the efforts that you do. And then on the right-hand side, you see how do you really take it to the market. So building that awareness, going ahead and creating those campaigns, conversion, and then look at post-sales, right? Now, we also looked at one example of creating this journey. So you've gone ahead and created this product. You're actually looking at where do you position it. People will be looking at it on your website. People will be looking at it mobile. Mobile phones, devices, in your app, and then how do you really go ahead and create a journey where the interactions you're able to capture those interactions and then finally transfer them or transition them to the e-commerce website, right? That's the customer journey, having an ability to go ahead and engage at every touch point and pushing them into conversion. The other part, I think a few of you might have heard in the panel that we were discussing earlier, is around data. So how do you really go ahead and, if you want to do personalization at scale, you need to capture a whole lot of information. How do you really get all of this information that you have, behavioral information, offline, in-store, partners, right? You have capabilities around where, today, large partners who have profile information are willing to share, and go ahead and leverage on each other's data. How do you really bring all of that in to create that personalized journey? And it really, when you look at it, from an Adobe perspective, on the left-hand side, what you see is all the aspects of personalization, profile information, and then what it does, it throws out a recipe. It says, gentlemen on these table would like to see these kind of products. They love black T-shirts, for example, right? Yeah, pro man. So let's show them black T-shirts. Somebody else likes brown. Somebody else likes something else. And you're not doing this manually because you can't do this at scale. So this recipe is is coming out of the personalization engine. And then there is the execution. So they like to see it on, the app. You like to see it on the device, which is of your choice, maybe an iPad. Somebody else likes to see it on the website. How do you really take that onto the website? The second aspect, and that's a big challenge that we see in, across brands, is the digital asset. How do you present the right picture for the right form factor? So what it does, what Adobe does, is basically go ahead and use the automation between the recipe, the right digital asset, and the right channel for engagement. That's what we actually bring to the table. Then Adobe is not only known for just about e-commerce or digital engagement across the board. If you're thinking about digital experience, if you're thinking about conversion, if you're thinking about analytics, if you're thinking about personalization at scale, if you're thinking about creating products, Adobe is number one in each of those areas. So you may think about, I kind of, did my research, got a few products, bolted them together, and, I'm a D2C brand that is selling online. Well, there are 800 of those. And frankly, you're not where you're supposed to be today. Otherwise, we would have seen you somewhere, right? So how do you get to that place? You need to make sure the adoption of technology is doing right the first time. I can give you a little simile, since I have a little time here, that, I like to bike. I have a bicycle, I use it. And I was actually using it at speeds which it's not supposed to run. And, the brake, it broke. It's got a disc brake, it broke. And I was doing my research, I said which one to buy and all that. So I said, let me look at pricing. And I saw a few, maybe about 500 rupees that you can go replace it. So I said, let me go find out from a bicycle shop. And I went there. The guy said it's 5,000 bucks. I said, come on, I can get it 500 rupees online. He said, are you seriously telling me that you want to go ahead and buy something which is going to protect your life for 500 rupees because, you don't mess around with brakes? I said, he's absolutely right. So in that same manner, you don't mess around with technology. You buy the right kind of technology. You make sure that it's going to help you scale your business, right? And these customers today are on Adobe, and they made sure that they're scaling. Each of these brands are well known, and that's how we can actually go ahead and build your brand, help you around. And finally, it is a digital-first economy. Let there be no assumptions around the fact that it's a digital-first economy. And at the end of the day, I think from Adobe, we look forward to partnering with you. I don't know what you're waiting for. Thank you very much.